All right, so I'm going to do this video here that talks about some of the apartment building, or actually a apartment building going on here in Tacoma. I think it's better for me to do these types of things again because I used to do videos that talked about um, particular apartment buildings that are being developed here, this, that, and the other, and then I kind of stopped doing that. But I think it's probably a good idea to go back to that because you have so many people who do question where to live, some of the new things going on, things like that, right? And I've mentioned this development before, but we're going to kind of revisit it because I didn't talk a lot about it. Make sure you join the Discord. It's going to be down in the description box below. Tacoma's on a apartment build boom, if you will. These are all mid-rises, so we're talking under 10 stories. Anything above that is a shock if you ever hear of it. There's only one project that I'm aware of that's over 10 stories, and that's in the brewery blocks. They're building a building eventually that will be beyond 10 stories, but typically Tacoma developers don't really build anything higher than 6 stories. And so what you have is still a timid development that gets built and not enough apartments for people to live in. I mean, it's basically what you have. So you have a lot of mid-rises all over the place, and it gives you the appearance of a very suburban city, right? But nonetheless, let's talk about Trax. Now, Trax is an apartment building that is proposed over there in the Dome District, right across from Freighthouse Square, and right directly across from the actually the Tacoma Link light rail will be right in front of the building. So this is a very, and the station itself is just directly right in front of what this building is going to be. So it's going to be really, really cool, given that at the end of the line, you're going to be able to walk right into this apartment and some of the things it's going to offer, right? So I'll pull it up a site. I'm going to give you the link in the description box where you can actually click on this so you can see more of the renderings. The renderings that you see kind of show what they envisioned the streetcar to look, or a light rail to look like, but that's not what it looks like. But nonetheless, this is kind of the idea of what the building's going to look like. That's going to be, of course, in the thumbnail that you see. And this is a very interesting aspect because it's going to have a farmer's market. Now, people may say, what's the big deal about a farmer's market? Well, there's a couple of things. One, downtown Tacoma needs a farmer's market. It really needs to have a center where people can purchase vegetables and different things, and we have vendors doing it. The one that's out there by Ruston is just kind of out of the way, and it appeals to wealthy people, just being honest. Then you have the farmer's market that pops up every now and again, but a pop-up market is not the same. It's very inconvenient for people who are working during those times and they're not able to get down there or whatever the case may be. But having one in a growing area like the Dome District, because there's a few developments going on there, is very important. Now, I was wondering if this project was going to get started. I walked to the studio the other day from work, and yes, they've been started actually moving dirt around and stuff like that for a while. The sign has been up for a bit that shows one of these renderings and some other stuff, but it hadn't actually started. And so now they're actually, getting ready to do foundation work. So that's great. This is also important too. Sounder commuter train is right there. For those that don't know, Sounder commuter train is right there in Freighthouse Square. You also have where Amtrak, once it starts to get going again, they've been testing the track now again. That's going to be right there as well. And then I've also mentioned the Tacoma Link light rail is right there also. So it is in a very good spot. The parking garage, the two big parking garages are right there as well. So literally you're just walking up a little bit, not far, and you're right there in that general spot. And so then, of course, the bus system. The bus hub is right behind the parking garage. So to be honest with you, this farmer's market's in the right spot. It's in a perfect spot when we're talking about a hub. Also, Freighthouse Square would have been a better alternative for a farmer's market, but again, it's up to owners, building owners. If they're not going to have the fortitude to actually do something like that, someone else will, and do it maybe a little bit better. But Freighthouse Square would have been a perfect venue for a farmer's market. That would have been indoor, outdoor, would have been amazing to convert some of that into that. You wouldn't even have to damage existing businesses. You could have turned a couple of areas into indoor farmers market as well as outdoor. It would be a huge success and bring a lot of people to the building. But I digress. So this particular building, it talks about a 2-story indoor farmers market and retail floor with roll-up garage doors for indoor-outdoor feel during good weather. Because I also keep in mind, weather here can be up and down, especially this time of year. Summer months are great. When we're talking about colder months, it's rain. So literally, we're talking October until April. The weather is dicey. So that's a good thing that you're going to have indoor and outdoor type stuff. So similar to what you see over at Point Ruston. The space is designed to be flexible with several sidewalk access points for street side connectivity and access to outdoor terraces. The concept is to create a full-time venue for local farmers and growers, artisans, restaurateurs, and vendors at the center of a bustling multimodal hub. As I mentioned, it is a transit hub, so this makes good sense. Also keep in mind, when Seattle finally brings the light rail system down from Federal Way, it's going to be in that general area as well. Not only will this venue cater to commuters and residents, but can easily become a destination. Let's go eat at Trax, right? So when we're talking about the farmers market retail space, they're talking about 15,420 square feet, including a mezzanine, 53 parking stalls on one level of secured garage, or on a secured parking garage. They're saying that's going to be about 21,000 square feet. The total square feet for the building is 154,000, a little over 154,000 square feet, right? So we're looking, based on the renderings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like it's like a 7-story building, 6 or 7 stories maybe. It's hard to tell, but that's what it kind of looks like. It says the features include an on-demand commercial kitchen for customers to buy fresh from butchers, seafood vendors, or vegetable growers, and have the meal cooked on demand. Now that is a big one, right? Equally as big as the farmer's market is a commercial kitchen, because a commercial kitchen, the access to commercial kitchens in Tacoma is hard. To find a commercial kitchen is almost impossible. You'll find one, but they don't have availability, or they're so expensive that vendors can't even afford to do it. So this is another option. Hopefully it's affordable, but this is a really good one because a commercial kitchen is desperately needed. And also having on-demand cooked food this is going to be great. Now this is wonderful too. It's right across from the studio, so we can always go there. By the time, if they decide to tear down Freighthouse or whatever the case may be, to put in the light rail station, then obviously our studio would have to move. If not, that's going to probably be our long-term location. Maybe we have to see, but maybe a long-term thing. Now I've talked to different folks about getting commercial kitchens here. Nobody wants to do it. I know someone at the Chamber of Commerce who's been trying to, and you can't get anyone to do it. So now you finally have someone who is putting in a commercial kitchen, and this is really, really good news. Ordering from a menu, so they're going to have ordering from a menu is also optional. A 2-sided fireplace hangout zone, a video art wall for projecting seasonal videos, a mezzanine level with outdoor terrace and viewing areas, 3 sides of a rolled up doors creating an indoor-outdoor atmosphere, opportunities for cafe-style seating and activities along the market street front. Now, right next to this is another building that's more up-to-date and modern. The only eyesore on the block is Freighthouse Square. I'm speaking facts. Now, the part that has been updated for the transportation stuff, the trains, is nice. The rest of that looks rough. And so one of the reasons why a lot of folks are wanting Sound Transit to take over the building is because they would rebuild it and make it look a lot better. So that's kind of the hope, is that Sound Transit would actually fix a lot of the ugly and that whole area gets a boost. We'll see. They either will build it in the middle of the street, on top of the station. There's a couple other places that they're going to look at too, but that's one of the options, right? Now, residential amenities. Private, secured resident entry lobby with leasing office, mail room, and water feature. Private resident courtyard with landscaping and seating areas. Fully equipped fitness center, game room, lounge with kitchenette. Secured parking structure with private access, bike lockers, bike wash, and a DIY room. Private balconies for all adults. Trash chutes at every floor. Orchid card discount, which allows residents to ride bus or train at a monthly discount, which that is a new one. You don't see a lot of developers doing that, so that is a new one. Spectacular views of the Tacoma skyline and port. Rooftop terrace with 8,418 square feet of usable areas, including barbecue area, game areas, trellises with gathering space, fireplace, landscaping, community garden areas, and a dog run with dog wash. Planters along the street front balconies. Now, this isn't much. It does not mention the price for the. It doesn't mention the price, right? It doesn't mention how much it's going to be in terms of the build of the building, but also just in terms of the cost for the apartments, right? Let's see. Let's see if there's any other information on this, right? Because I know that this was something that has been in the news for quite some time. Back in 2008, they were talking about this. Now, keep in mind that... what was that? I saw something that went away. Let's see if it says anything here. In terms of the number of actual apartments that are going to be there. Here it is. Okay, so this gives a little bit more information. So the project calls for a 7-story structure consisting of 115 apartments, studio, 1-bedrooms, and 2-bedroom units on 5 levels with ground level retail that will include 55 parking stalls and an indoor farmers market. So yeah, it says the heart of the project includes a 2-story indoor farmers market retail floor with roll-up garage doors, as I mentioned. The concept is to operate a full-time venue for local farmers, growers, whatever, and I mentioned that before. So that gives you a little bit more information. 115 apartments right there. Now, this is a big boon for the Dome District. Now, keep in mind, not long ago, Cause Development built an apartment building that just finished up the end of last year. So the Dome District is starting to get more and more apartments. This is not the only one. I think there's one more at least that is coming to that area. Before, this was just an old, ugly garage sitting there. They knocked all that down. They cleared all that out. They're building up. This is a really big deal, right? There's other projects downtown that they're starting to work on that you don't hear a lot in the news, and that's not really made public yet for some reason, but you talk to enough realtors, you kind of get the scoop as to what's going on, right? There's a new brewery that's coming to town, supposedly, that's going to take over a big old building. And so that's going to be interesting. It's right there in the brewery district where there's already quite a few, but it seems like that is a possibility. We don't know. But this is a really good project. Not only does it add more apartments that are needed, but it's adding an element that downtown sorely needs, and it addresses a lot of the core issues. A lot of the parking, obviously, the 55 parking stalls are for a lot of the apartment folks that are there. Other folks are probably going to end up parking in the garage, which is going to be a pain because parking in that garage is already hard to begin with. Keep in mind, too, that Parking when the students come back from UWT is always bad in the garage. You can't find any place to park. Parking in the Dome District is going to get more and more challenging as time goes on, because even though you have those big giant garages, they really and truly aren't big enough. Now, Sound Transit may choose to add more garages or add to those garages in the future, especially when they're going to start bringing in the light rail system in a couple of years, well, 10 years from now. But it's going to be very, very tight down there in terms of just parking. Now, this is also great because it brings people from the core of downtown over to the Dome District, not necessarily the Tacoma Dome, but over into other parts of the Dome area, so that they're able to actually walk around. People are more likely to go into Freighthouse Square, which I'm all for, because then they get to discover us, right? They get to discover us, our studio there. So that's a good thing. So this project, out of a lot of them, I am actually happy for, because it does so many different things in one shot, and they're addressing critical core needs, and also it's a transit-oriented development. So they are providing a tremendous amount of parking, given what some other developers choose not to do because they're downtown. They don't have to offer a lot to begin with, but they're downtown and they're along a transit line. I mean, literally. And they technically don't have to offer what they're offering, but it seems like these prices for this, which doesn't mention it in this other article either, are going to be market rate apartments. So who knows what the cost is going to be. But anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you join the Discord, which is down in the description box below. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, I will see you. Take care.